Welcome to the NonProfit Voice Tech Series, a special edition of the NonProfit Voice podcast, hosted by Mark Becker, founding partner of Cathexis Partners and editorial advisory board member of NonProfit Pro. In each episode of this monthly installment, Mark will have conversations with prominent nonprofit organizations and industry thought leaders to learn more about different technology offerings in the marketplace. Join us, and together we will learn more about these innovative digital tools and how to navigate the rapidly evolving technology landscape.
All right. Hello again. Mark Becker here, founding partner of Cathexis Partners. This time I am here with a bunch of nonprofit peer-to-peer fundraising experts and thought leaders. And we just really want to get out there and share a little bit about our upcoming conference. It's a Peer-to-Peer World 2021. It's going to be we're totally mixing it up this year. Instead of just one day and five sessions, we're going to do 5 days of 5 sessions each day and make it, instead of killing everybody's week, making it 5 Fridays starting September 10th through October 8th. So people can hopefully, the way it's intended, is take a day to focus on thought leadership, thinking about next year, thinking about the future of your campaigns, and us helping provide some ideas and getting some ideas hopefully from everybody else involved in the conference. So looking forward to that, and would love to just chat with a few of the folks that will be speaking at this year's conference and involved in this year's conference, and getting their ideas about what they plan on talking about and what they're seeing out there in the industry. So first up, Maureen, welcome back to the podcast. This is a second time for you. You're like a pro now.
Do I get a jacket?
How are things?
Yeah.
There's no. I don't have that. I don't have no budget. How are you?
Good. Things are good. We're in the waning days of the summer, and I think everybody's ready to get on the other side of Labor Day, because that's when stuff starts to get serious again inside nonprofit fundraising teams, whether it's peer-to-peer or straight up end of year.
I like it. And your session is, what do we focus on when you come with your session again?
Shall I remind you? I'll do that. So the title of the session is Future-Proofing Your Peer-to-Peer Program. And the premise of this session, the takeaways, just as an early tease of what we're going to be talking about, is let's not just throw spaghetti at the wall in 2022. I think 2020, we had to be super reactive. People just figured it out or canceled when it came to their peer-to-peer programs. 2021, I think we all hoped that we would all be together, like physically together. The second half of 2021, not happening in most places around the country. And so this exercise, this practice that we're going to go through in my session, is designed to help people really evaluate their programmatic components. And you should do that anyway, right? You should do an analysis every couple of years and see what can you level up, what are you going to drop, what's new that you're going to try. But because we've been living in this, kind of environment for a couple of years now, I think we're all tired of trying to figure out how to look at these things and evaluate them and make the right changes going forward into 2022 and beyond. So I have this framework that I use called the 4 Ps. What are those 4 Ps? It is your plan. It is your platform. It's your people and your business processes. And so we're going to talk about how to look at your existing peer-to-peer program through those 4 lenses and focus on making the right changes based on your goals. And we're going to also spend some time talking about how do you set realistic goals right now? The live in-person walks, runs, peer-to-peer events bring in more money than virtual events do often. And so what do we do about our 2022 goals for peer-to-peer, whether it's a DIY or a virtual challenge or whatever? So we're gonna spend some time kind of with some tips and some practices and steps that organization teams can take to kind of realign themselves to 2022, feeling like their plan is solid, their platforms are set up properly, or they're in the right platform. They've got the right people with the right skills and training, and the business processes to support participants, donors, and themselves inside the organization. So that's what we're going to talk about on Friday, the 10th of September.
I like it. Great way to kick off the conference. Actually, we'll be kicking it off with a virtual 5K for anybody that wants to attend, but from a cerebral kind of perspective, I like it. You're covering a lot there. So looking forward to it. Then we have my friend, Carrie Bodell, who has also been on the podcast before. We are going to, did I wrangle you into this, or did you wrangle me? Co-wrangler into the session?
Co-wrangled. We've been co-wrangling each other for many, many years.
and we're going to do it again, and I think this is going to be great. We're going to be focusing on email communications workshop, and it's going to actually be 5 sessions. So each Friday we're going to have a session at 11:30 Eastern time, and kind of build on that over the 5 weeks. Right? Looking forward to that, Carrie. What are your thoughts on it?
I'm excited about it, and I think the way the wrangling happened, Mark, was you came and told me about the new format of the conference, and we started talking about how awesome would it be if we could actually do something that built on itself over the multiple weeks. And so each of the sessions, we will be doing some theory, some philosophy, but then really quickly talking to how does this happen and how does this all really come to life when you're busy and things are happening, and sometimes you don't know what's going to move the needle, so you need to respond quickly. And we're going to get real really quickly. And every week we're going to be doing a little bit of homework, and the homework from the previous week will inform the next week. And by the end, we want you to leave with something really actionable that you'll feel like, okay, I attended these 5 sessions and really got something valuable out of it, whether it's something that you're able to do immediately by yourself, or whether it gives you a tool to go back to your organization and talk with your marketing team, or talk with your copywriters, or talk with your technology team, or talk with your fundraisers. From whichever point of view you sit in the organization, we really are excited to give you some useful, valuable tools. And I think right now, there are so many ways that we're communicating with our customers, and e-com is obviously just one of the channels. And we want to make sure that it's targeted, that it's strategic, that it's effective, so that we can cut through so much of the noise out there and really move our needle on the peer-to-peer programs this fall.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, and looking forward to just the everybody's involvement in that, and that they'll have something tangible at the end of it that they can work with. So it's exciting. It's a different type of program that we're putting together. So for us, so I like it. And thank you so much for your help.
Have some good guest stars coming in. So it's not just me and Mark. Julie Brock from Susan G. Komen with me will also be facilitating. And we've got some all-stars already lined up. I know Jillian Stewart from CareWorks will be there. Joanne Collins from Event 360 will be there one of the weeks. So we will have an interesting rotation of characters.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, and then we have Abby and Brendan from QGive. Abby, you want to tell us a little bit about what you're going to be talking about?
Yeah, so what we're going to be looking at is what has kind of happened over the last year to year and a half in the peer-to-peer space, and then what we think that means for the future of peer-to-peer fundraising. So earlier this year, we released a research study called Navigating the Unknown. And that research study looked at how nonprofits and their supporters adjusted to kind of a post-COVID world. And a lot of what we looked at is donors changing donation preferences and how they preferred to get involved with the nonprofits they support, even if they couldn't physically kind of meet up for a peer-to-peer event. So we're going to look at that, and we're really going to look at 3 different predictions we have for the future of peer-to-peer. We're going to look at the fact that there's really no indication that hybrid or virtual events are going away entirely. We're going to look at why that is and what that means for peer-to-peer fundraisers in the future, hopefully post-COVID. We're going to look at how people are increasingly taking the peer-to-peer event format and kind of pushing the limits on the kinds of events and campaigns they can support with that format. And then we're going to look at how there is a growing trend of nonprofits combining peer-to-peer events with other fundraising campaigns that all run simultaneously and kind of point to each other. So we're going to be looking at all of those with the input of a local fundraiser. Her name is Margot Pagan, and she works with the Sharing Center out of Longwood, Florida. And we're going to look at how she and her team kind of used each of these three trends to raise. They raised, I think, over $355,000 last year to support their operations, despite the pandemic shutdown and everything that's happened. So Margot has a ton of phenomenal insight to share. So I'll come to you with kind of the numbers and the trends and the predictions and the best practices. And then Margot will come in with her real life insight to talk about what it was like to execute all these different strategies and ideas, what she would change in the future, and any kind of insight she can give fundraisers now who are interested in exploring these different developments in the space.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And yeah, Brendan, you and the QGIve team continue to kind of spin up different updates and changes. I mean, this industry, it's not like you can sit on your laurels, right? You guys are always innovating and hearing feedback. And what else are you seeing out there?
Yeah, I don't know that I can add much more than Abby's already shared. I think we don't want to give away the fun stuff that she's going to be sharing during the session, certainly, but you're absolutely right. I mean, the industry over the years has continued to present obstacles for vendors, and we have to overcome them so that we can keep up with what the clients are looking to do. So, certainly looking forward to Abby's session. And I know that she's got a bunch of good stuff lined up because we've been prepping for it. So in addition to that session, I just wanted to make sure that we all knew that, or that everybody knows we're bringing some fun to the table too. QGIve is actually working with one of our partners, Fun Team Events, on a couple trivia sessions for the conference, kind of during our downtimes. We thought it'd be fun to kind of pull aptly named Fun Team Events into the mix and have them do some trivia for us. So we'll be out in full force on, I think it's the 17th, September 17th and October 1st from 11 to 11:30 with Fun Team Events doing that trivia. So we're looking forward to learning from everybody that's on this call today and everybody who's going to be speaking and presenting at the conference, and can't wait to see that session that Abby's pulling together.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, thanks for doing that. Great stuff. All right. Also with us today, I think that might have the winning for the busiest guy in nonprofit fundraising, Brian Lively. He's got his hands in all kinds of things. Brian, you're bringing a couple different sessions to the table and involved a couple different ways, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Mark, and thanks for including us. But yeah, as you mentioned, I have the pleasure of working with many great nonprofits, brands, events across the globe, and the first coming in on the last session on the 10th of September in honor and preparation of the honorable moment in time that we have on 9/11, 20-year anniversary. But Kilter will be coming to the table and speaking and leading the session, discuss how they're working hard to lead all-inclusive campaigns through engagement and fundraising. So it can be logging activities, walking your dog, playing pickleball, logging your miles, cycling, whatever it may be. But we're really bringing some fun engagement and the opportunity to really make all activities count. So Kilter's partnered up with nonprofit Answer the Call, who benefits the widows and the children of the fallen from 9/11, as well as famous retired New York Jets center Nick Mangold. And the team of speakers will discuss how the inclusion of all and what that means through all different activities, really where you can make your supporters stickier than ever before, and how it brings really new supporters into the fold, which is what so many nonprofits are focused on today. So key partnerships with technology partners and high profile individuals can really help take your efforts to the next level, which will be excited about providing everybody a chance to participate in that campaign with Nick Mangold and Answer the Call the day of on September 10th as well. So very much looking forward to that opportunity.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool.
Excited. And then later that month, we'll bring back a group of great speakers, including Pam Pickard from the Heron Project based out on the East Coast, the team from Give and Gain, global fundraising platform, and members from the Boston Athletic Association to talk through the power of live streaming and the importance of now, right? So many people are on their devices all day long, every day. So you need to meet people, where they're at. So the opportunity to engage with a wide variety of audience while making it super easy, for nonprofits is such a requirement this day and age. So we'll discuss activation opportunities at mass participation events, whether it's through the in-person or virtual expos, fan fest weekends, VIP breakfasts, and other just key moments. We'll also chat about the power of data. So, imagine, the opportunity for nonprofits, again, across the globe to make really educated decisions based on where and when supporters are donating and what they are and how often they are doing so through, things like QR codes and dedicated to certain different areas, of the event and whatnot. So we're really excited about that. And that's the 24th to wrap up the day too, from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern.
That's great. Yeah, thanks for bringing in those folks. That's going to be great. I'm looking forward to hearing those. And then absolutely. Chad, your team, Gather Voices, are not only do you have a session, but you're also providing some of the technology to help folks kind of share their insights, introduce themselves, and why they're involved. Tell us a little bit more about what you have to offer and how you're involved.
Great. So thank you. So yes, we have a session that we're leading, and so that's going to be on the 17th, and it's called Accelerating Your Impact: How to Use Authentic Video Stories from Real People to Advance Your Mission. So you're going to get a couple Joels there. So our CRO, as well as Joel Alsip from St. Jude, and they're going to talk about how people are at the heart of everyone's story, that those stories from people are most impactful, whether they're your donors, volunteers, everyone involved. And so they'll talk about how St. Jude specifically leverage user-generated video to tell their stories and advance their mission. So that should be a good session for sure. And they'll share some best practices. Gather Voices is partnering with you to help you facilitate the event and add some engagement. So Gather Voices is a marketing software. We enable people to collect user-generated video from anyone, anywhere, anytime on any device. So whether you have a phone or a laptop or an iPad or tablet, Freudian slip, you can grab that video. So we make it very easy for people to give the content providers the directions they need in terms of the stories that you ask them to share, with points to call out, as well as tips on how to make the video in terms of lighting and background and sound. And then once they've made their video, they sign the rights away, so you can use it however you want. You can edit the videos on our platform and then share it. So for peer-to-peer world specifically, we are our technology is incorporated in a few different ways. So all the speakers for all the sessions were asked to make a video to talk about what they're going to be talking about. So everyone's featured on your website right now. You are also using us for registrations and member introduction. So as you get people to register for the event, having everyone introduce themselves, so people can see who's going to be at the event with them, and get to know who's going to be there, has been incorporated. It has, so it's a part of the registration process, but also you've got a whole page dedicated where you have one of our products called the Hive, which is an interactive video gallery kind of incorporated. I think you're also using us for sponsors as well. So sponsors being able to share their story and how they can help your community. So various different ways that we're kind of helping you with it with user-generated video, and we are really looking forward to the event.
Yeah, and I just love that you guys are involved in this way, and thank you for the opportunity, because basically, it allows us to show, peer-to-peer professionals, some of this technology, right? So they can get their hands on it, test it out. That's the goal of this, is share ideas, but also, share some of this experience and how they can use it. So I'm very excited and glad you guys are involved. So thank you for that. All right, next up, Candace, you're going to tell us about what you're going to be talking about. Thank you so much you just recently had your own conference, right? Everybody's virtual these days. Was your conference always virtual? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Or did it used to be in person?
Yeah, so we run the digital fundraising summit, and so it actually was always virtual. So this was our 4th year doing it virtually, like 2 full days. It was really fun. We touched on peer to peer, but this is really cool to see something that's so dedicated to peer to peer because I love peer to peer fundraising, and I think that it is a whole world of type of fundraising to explore. So thank you for having me be part of it. I'm excited to be
Yeah,
here.
looking forward to it. What are you going to be talking about on the day?
So my session is called Fundraising Toolkits, the secret to peer-to-peer fundraising success. So I work at CauseVox, or a digital fundraising platform. One of our specialties is peer-to-peer. And over the last 6 years, I've seen thousands of peer-to-peer campaigns, and I've personally worked with hundreds of organizations setting them up. And it was really incredible because over the last 6 years, there was this big gap between the peer-to-peer campaigns that did fine. They maybe met their goal or were almost there, and the ones that blew it out of the water. And almost every time, the ones that really blew it out of the water had a fundraising toolkit. So that's basically a package of materials you provide to your fundraisers in order to help them get the word out effectively about your campaign. And so really what I'm going to be talking about is really going into the best practices that I've seen over hundreds and hundreds of these toolkits, about the components of what you can include so that you can really create a effective toolkit that will also help you blow your campaign out of the water and reach all of your goals. So I'm going to be going over a lot of real examples of toolkits, best practices for actually putting them together, tools that you can use. It's going to be a really practical and tactical session. So if you are running a peer-to-peer campaign, want to learn more about how these toolkits can be effective for you, I'm going to be diving really deep into it. And yeah, I'm just excited to talk more about it. It's funny because I've personally seen it work so well for so many organizations that I just end up personally, every time I would talk with a nonprofit, I would be like, hey, like, whatever you do, like, make sure that you have this in place. And almost everyone that I've chatted about that with came back to me and was like, actually, that was literally the most effective thing that we did. So, yeah, it comes from like almost like a lot of personal experience with hundreds of organizations. So toolkits are like a secret passion of mine for peer-to-peer fundraising. So yeah.
That's great. Well, yeah, looking forward to it. All right, next up, Mark Sutton, who's been in the industry for a minute, right? Like myself,
A few years.
back to the Front Stream days and before, and now you're over at Let's All Do Good. Tell us a little bit more about that and what you got on tap.
Yeah, so I've been involved with the peer-to-peer sector for a long time through the fundraising lens, and this is going to be a little different for me, where I'm really now going to be talking about communication tools, and specifically apps, and how they can be applied for peer-to-peer purposes by really any organization. And so the session headline is how any nonprofit can use a mobile app for instant communication. And it's really around engaging participants on their phones leading up to, during, and even after the event. And what we're going to be talking about is how, and one of the things I've seen over the years is it's challenging to communicate with people, and it's getting more challenging, ironically, where email open rates, are low. They're not immediately seen. Social media is really awesome for some kinds of communication and not for others. And this will be talking about how organizations can utilize an app to communicate. It's the thing that we all look at 100 times a day. I don't know if that's an encouraging or discouraging stat, but with the push notifications, hitting the front of our phones, it's really, this is kind of how we live our lives, as was stated earlier, where this is meeting them where they are. And so we're going to be breaking down why mobile apps, and kind of from a communication perspective, where does this fit in, and where could apps fit in to your kind of range of tools alongside email, alongside social, other kinds of communications as well. We'll be getting into some data around the apps and just kind of breaking down open rates, notification opt-in rates, and just kind of usage of mobile web versus apps, and kind of how all this fits in. And then, really a core piece of what we'll be covering will be a case study that's presented by my co-presenter, who is with the Guardian Angel Basset Rescue. They run an incredible, it's a peer-to-peer event for Basset Hounds. They've been running it for 24 years. I've been involved with them for many of those through different contexts, but they're going to talk about how they're using the app this year to do things like greet participants and volunteers as they enter the event area, communicate with people about what's going on at the event. There's a fundraising element to it, and even how they add value to sponsors through an app at an event. And that's really the headline of what we'll be covering, Mark. I'm really looking forward to it because it's something that definitely applies to really any organization that's running a peer-to-peer event.
I like it. And we might get a chance to test drive your app a bit, I believe, as well. So looking forward to that.
That is right. We're going to be, using the app during some of the breaks to, let people, experience it firsthand, how it works and kind of what it does, and how the instantaneous aspect of communication is really a powerful thing. That's
great. All right. Jenna, good to see you. I think we were on another meeting yesterday, as recent as yesterday, because you're with One Cause and looking forward to that conference as well. And love to hear more about what's going on in your neck of the woods and what you have planned for your session.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. We're so excited to be a part of Peer-to-Peer World this year. One of the really fun things I get to do at One Cause is our research studies. We got out of the field with a survey this past April that was really digging into that donor experience. Like, what was it like for donors to be giving, during this virtual transition, and, what can we learn from that? And one of the really interesting things we found is that there was a huge increase in giving to DIY fundraisers, folks that said that they gave to someone's birthday campaign or individual giving challenge or all these different types of DIY fundraisers. And so we really thought, what a really cool idea is to put together a session to bust some myths about DIY peer-to-peer. I think we all think we know what DIY is. We all probably have our own definition of it. And so the way we're going to kind of structure this session is break down some of those myths around DIY and talk about some of the growth that we're seeing there, the creativity that we're seeing there, and why every organization should be hosting some sort of DIY fundraiser. I've got my co-presenter, Rich, who's not on today, but he's a lot of fun. He's been in the space for a really long time. So you're going to have two friends really busting some myths together and trying to make some of this data actionable for you to really, we think, create a whole nother revenue stream for a lot of organizations.
I like it, and love all the data. So yeah, looking forward to that one as well. All right, next up, Sydney. Love to hear more about what you have going on in the from Double the Donation and the whole matching gifts perspective. And there's a lot of people that don't even think about matching gifts when it comes to peer-to-peer fundraising, right? So yeah, love to hear more about what you have planned.
Yeah, you're right. Tons of people kind of forget that matching gifts even exists when it comes to peer-to-peer fundraising, which is funny because we actually partner with about 60 different fundraising platforms, QGive and Run Sign Up and Classy and Give Butter, and One Cause being some examples of those platforms that we partner with to really help demystify this whole idea that matching gifts are really tricky and really difficult to figure out for their donors and difficult for nonprofits to market. So our session is going to be all about how to revolutionize your fundraising through corporate matching gifts. We'll really be spending some time providing some really easy tips on how just do your online donor journey. So how people are already giving through peer-to-peer online, how you can just leverage the time they're taking already to support you guys, to encourage them to go through the matching gift process. I mean, when we think about the $4 to $7 billion of unclaimed matching gift revenue that's left on the table each year, that means there's pie out there for every single nonprofit, and every single nonprofit could be fundraising more and matching gifts. So during our session, we will be talking about some of those easy tips to, get your slice of the pie, to get closer to that 5 to 15% of what you could be bringing in from individual contributions being matched. And we'll be showing tons of different examples from some of our, current peer-to-peer clients of how they're leveraging our offerings and our tips and solutions to drive their matches up by 50% for most of our clients each year.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, there's so many people that don't even think about it or know about it, but just don't take the time. And it can be a pretty convoluted process, but yeah, you guys definitely help make that as simple as can be in a very complex space. So well done. Looking forward to it. All right. Last but not least, Marie, with fundraising, glad you're here. How's things? What do you got planned for your session?
We're really excited to be part of the conference. This is the first time that we've actually gotten involved with anything, so it's exciting time for us. We're going to be talking about gamification and how it's kind of evolved from just being the obvious way of badges. We're going to be looking at events from around the world and how they've actually used gamification practices to enhance their users' experience. One of the things that I've loved about working in the peer-to-peer space or the nonprofit space is the collaboration between organizations. And I think that's really important for everyone to kind of come together and share ideas. I know this it's meant to be competition, but that's not really what everyone is about. So yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to have guest speakers from Sick Kids who will be talking about and showing real examples of how they included gamification in their digital strategy and the results of that. We will talk about how important the digital strategy is, and digital strategy beyond just your acquisition or your marketing, and even beyond the user journey that is just communications via email, how you can incorporate that digital strategy into what you're doing, and help to sort of build that community. One of the things that I think has dropped off since going virtual is that big community feel, the thing of feeling like you're part of something bigger that you get when you're actually amongst a crowd and you get that excitement. And we'll talk about how to bring that back to your events. So we're really excited. And I know you said last but not least, we're actually the last but not least on the conference. So we're at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 8th of October. So we'd really love you to come along.
I like it. So Maureen's going to be kicking it off and you'll be wrapping it up. So, and a lot of great content. And this is just actually just a little, a few examples of the sessions. There's a lot more folks involved in this, and there's a lot more we're going to be doing. We have Charge Running that's going to be, like I said, going to be doing a 5K first morning to kick things off if you're available. It's going to be a virtual 5K. I think I got wrangled into talking on that, so I don't have to run because this doesn't work very well anymore. And an hour isn't enough time. And then I think they're also going to do some walks on some other days. So a lot of great activities, a lot of things to test out, a lot of great sessions I heard about strategy, about tech, about data, about all of that. So I'm looking for heaping handfuls of all of this, and I think there's a lot of great information to be shared with everybody involved. Also, we're going to have a LinkedIn group. We have a LinkedIn group set up and a Slack group set up so everybody can kind of communicate. So looking to make this very collaborative and involve everybody in the conversation. So thank you for everybody that's been in the conversation today. Any final thoughts from anybody? I'm just going to throw that out there and see what kind of a mess we get when everybody comes off a mute at once, or no one comes off. Could be even worse. Any final thoughts from anybody?
Just wanted to say thank you for bringing us all together.
Thank you.
I need to block out time to attend each and every one of these sessions. I was literally checking my calendar on my phone as people were talking about their sessions. So you will see me there for sure.
Excellent. Yes. Brian, any final thoughts?
Yeah, Mark, I was just going to say it's just such a great lineup of partners within the space. And I loved Marie's comment about, leave the competition at home, really come here to learn, see how everybody can benefit each other, collaborate, meet some new people virtually, and be ready to take home some great ideas to impact, your organization right from the get-go.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks again, everybody, for your time. And thank you, everybody out there. Feel free to stop by peertopeerworld.com. It's free. I think I should have probably mentioned that earlier. That's what this is all about. Thought leadership. You shouldn't have to pay for it. Let's get these concepts out there. Let's have these conversations, and let's do it as a community. So thank you all for your involvement. And I'm sure we'll see you out there soon.
Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode of The Nonprofit Voice. You can listen to more episodes of The Nonprofit Voice at nonprofitpro.com/podcast/the-nonprofit-voice. And remember, for your convenience, you can stream any and all episodes of The Nonprofit Voice on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify.